Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today?
Doing well. Hope you are too.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Seems like it should be later in the week already. It's only Tuesday. I had to remind myself. Goodness. Right. Anybody been able to get out and enjoy the weather these last several days? I know for me in the office, I usually don't take my breaks. I've been trying to force myself to take my lunch breaks and my other breaks to get out and walk. So it's been nice though. You get out and you see people walking and like, oh man, there's actually people that work around here and get get out and walk. So it is nice. So yeah, if you don't take your break, I would encourage you to take your breaks. Peace of mind, if anything.
Wasn't it last year at this time? Did we have the ice storm? So we were all coming out of that like frost time. I see Adrian Martin. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is just strange.
it is strange.
And so I agree with you. Go touch some, even though it's brittle grass, right? Touch some
Right.
grass.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we're just in fake spring right now. It's going to come again.
I think so, yeah.
You might blow away out there today.
Yeah, it's pretty rough today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We might make it out. I don't know. We got what, a few more weeks. I guess we've gotten a snow in March before, so I shouldn't say that, but maybe we'll get lucky. We haven't had it bad though. It's been decent winter. So all right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. Good to see you today. Just wanted to go over the quick agenda today. We'll just give a couple updates from Chalker Licensing. We'll check with you all to see if, what all work you all have going on and see if you have any updates for us or information to give us. We'll go through our work group updates from January, and then we'll go out and break out for our work groups if you all are meeting today. And if we can head to the next slide. Okay. I told Megan, I couldn't remember if I mentioned anything or not about our new system, the timeline on it. The original timeline was for February. It is February now, and it is not live. And so we had some staff actually. It came to my attention. We've been so heavy into UAT and making sure we're getting what we needed that, and we knew that we weren't going to meet the February timeline. And I had a staff member ask me last month, "Hey, are we still going live in February?" And I was like, I guess we haven't communicated that. So I was like, I better make sure we communicate that broadly just so people know that, yeah, if you've heard that February timeline and see it's February and haven't heard anything, that is because yeah, we won't be going live February. Through UAT, we found some things that we really need to make sure are right with the system. So we've been working with the vendor on trying to set a new timeline. We have not come up with a new timeline yet, but when we do, I think the plan is to communicate that broadly with our partners and everything. So I just wanted to make sure, like I said, if there's swirls out there that licensing said that the system was going live in February, you haven't heard anything, that's why. So feel free to pass that on to any other partners you have. So yeah, that's really the only update we had for licensing. I guess I did want to mention we did have a OEC meeting yesterday, Officer Early Childhood meeting. Christy was there. She was confirmed. Was that Friday? She was confirmed per position, and so yeah, we had our first meeting yesterday with her there. It was really exciting for staff just because the first few meetings we've had, she hadn't been in those meetings. I think the focus was on the legislative piece and her doing what she needed to make sure she got confirmed. And so it was really great to see and hear from her yesterday, giving us the vision and purpose of the office, and just seeing her talk about herself and getting to meet her and her plans and her vision for the office. I think was a really good time to just have all those staff that are going to be in the office come together and meet each other. So I did want to throw that out there. That's still moving forward, and I think since Christie has now been confirmed, I think we'll start seeing some things move a little quicker. and we will be sure to keep everyone up to date with any information we can share on OEC. I wanted to pass this to the group and want to let you guys share what you all have going on. I know we're kind of coming still in the winter months, but I think it's been nice out. So hopefully we've been able to do some different things. So yeah, I wanted to take time for anyone to come off mute and share what you all have going on in your communities.
I'll just share, we're having a training for our providers and well, any of our facilities next week about opioids and Narcan, and we're going to teach them all how to do that and then give them a free thing of Narcan so that they can have that in their facilities, because you just never know when you may need that. So we're excited to offer kind of a different type of training for our providers. It's a little bit outside of the wheelhouse, but also something very useful.
Well, and they did just the health department itself is sponsoring that, Heather.
Yes, our I can't even think of her title, but she's does all of our opioid training around the community. So she's the
Okay.
one putting it on.
Okay, that's very cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Jarvis, I can report that the Innovation Center is holding a free training for childcare providers. It's a Saturday training, February 28th. The morning is various topics, and the afternoon is first aid CPR. That includes a meal. It's in, like I said, Palco, Kansas, which is in Rooks County. And we just welcome anybody that's interested to sign up. They can talk to me if they're interested. No fee for that. It's a free training.
Cool. Y'all always doing some cool stuff out there, Dana. Lots going on.
Good morning. I'll just share that we are still working with community development with the unified government specific for KCK childcare providers. And it looks like some of those very first initiatives are going to be funded and moving forward.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to how that looks.
Yeah. What were those first initiatives?
So some of it's some HUD funding that they had and some other things through community development. So unified government's community development, but specifically this funding is only for Kansas City, Kansas area childcare providers. And so it was to increase access specifically for low income. It was also a goal to increase employment. And the third one was, I can't think of right off the top of my head, but they kind of tried to refocus it to really narrow in on the increasing access for the low socioeconomic. So those other two are still goals, but not the primary goal anymore.
Very cool.
But the one that is like closest to moving forward, I'm excited to say that is fencing for it'll be actually two of our programs that are side by side that are family childcare homes in commercial buildings that their outdoor play area met regulation. But this will make it a better opportunity for the kids to have that outdoor play. So
Good. That's good.
We're gearing up for our annual training down here to be March 28th. We've partnered with the Wichita Advanced Library. So we're really hoping by bringing the providers to the library, they will see what they have to offer as well and can use those resources in their licensed facility as also. We have to limit it to 100 people due to space and whatnot. And when I sent the flyer out for registration, we were fully enrolled in 8 days.
Oh wow. That's incredible. Andrea, is
Jarvis,
that? I was gonna ask Andrea, is that an all day thing or is it a couple days or
No, we
how's that?
just do it on a Saturday. We're able to give them 6 hours of training. We're doing one on kindergarten readiness, parent involvement, and Beth Reeder is doing one. I can't remember the title of it, but it's basically, find out what color you are and how you react to other colors when you're dealing with people. I know we've done something similar like that here in the city, and it's quite interesting to see your social people and your more reserved or your more risky people and the interactions that each color has. So we're really looking forward to it this year.
Sorry, Melissa, you ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's okay. I loved Adrian's summary. I just wanted to invite everybody. This Friday, the recommendations panel will be hosting their fifth annual governance summit. And it's an opportunity for everybody to learn more about the work groups that are in the early childhood governance structure. And the systems improvement team is one of those work groups. So there will be a few slides providing that overview. And what's really exciting about this year's Governance Summit, it's really focusing on the purpose, how your work group exists in the early childhood ecosystem, what collaboration looks like for you. So it's, really amazing to hear all of the stuff that you detailed in your communities, because that's about cross collaboration in addition to the work groups, and really what your headline be like in for the work that you're doing, the systems improvement is doing in 2036. And that is a live stream, and I'll drop that link into the chat. But really want you to get on and listen to the other great work groups, because we'll have the state ICC, we will have the maternal and child health. There will be, we're inviting the All In for Kansas Kids webinar, our communications team, to do all of monthly webinars, all of the newsletters to hear about what they're doing for that collaboration. So it's really a good time to, if you're not had an opportunity to attend virtually or any of the meetings, but to see the work that's going across the state and where you can find connections. So really, you'll get to see Jarvis and Jennifer, but also great opportunity just to hear what's going on across the ecosystem.
Thanks for sharing, Melissa. Yeah, I know for me, being new to everything when I first started, it took me a while to understand all the different committees and groups and councils that are involved in the system. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a good opportunity if you're still confusion you have around how the system works and the governance structure. I think it's a good opportunity to kind of gain some more knowledge of that, if anything, and it kind of just put some pieces together for you and understand how all the groups are connected. So.
Melissa, you said you're going to send information out on that?
I'm going to drop the link, Adrian, in the chat.
Okay.
And if you follow the All In for Kansas Kids, our KU CPPRs, any of their social media sites, they've been providing the link there. So throwing that out as a plug for anybody who's listening or any following those sites. But yeah, it's just a great opportunity. So love to have you guys join and listen.
Anyone else got anything they want to share? Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll move on to work group updates. Guess the first one we've got on here is promotion of marketing and licensed childcare programs. See who wants to maybe come off mute, and anyone from your work group wants to give an update.
I can get started. And if there's any members that want to hop in, please feel free. Let me pull up my notes. Sorry, I went first last time, so I was like, maybe I'll get second or third this time. But here we are, starting it off. So the last meeting in January, if I can back up that far, we were kind of going forward with what we've been discussing. Just a brief overview. We've talked about having some like flyers and talking points around the like value of licensure and like what being a licensed childcare provider can mean, the benefits that can come from it, etc. And we're specifically thinking of creating these resources for 4 different audiences. First being providers that aren't currently licensed. The second being for communities, just to promote like the public awareness of what licensure does and the benefits of childcare licensing. The third is for parents who are, looking for childcare facilities to enroll their children and promoting what being a licensed provider means, like what parents can expect from that kind of childcare setting. And then the last is for current licensed providers, just to like talk about the benefits of licensing and to keep them in, the licensure program. So last month we had, well, I guess I'll say in December, we had kind of split up some of the work to develop talking points, different perspectives and angles to like approach these different audiences. And then the group kind of came back in January with what we had come together with. And then in the working group last time, we pretty much took that bank of talking points and tried to work through like what an actual flyer would look like and synthesize some of the different talking points and organize them into the best way to try to what am I trying to say? Try to communicate that information in a digestible way, in an impactful way. So kind of thinking through like what is good information for a flyer versus what is good information for like a talking point that can supplement the flyer, etc. So in the last meeting, we pretty much really kind of honed in on that task of trying to build up what the flyer would look like versus what just the talking points are, and talk through how to best synthesize this information and target them to the specific groups. So this month, we're pretty much continuing on with that activity and trying to better draft what these resources can look like and make sure that they're tailored to the target audience that we want and has the like best information we can put together. So that's a quick little overview. If there's anybody in the work group who wants to add something or even correct something that I said, please feel free. And otherwise, I will hand it back to you, Jarvis. Or if you have questions, feel free to let me know.
Anybody got questions for Clayton and our work group? Right. I'll talk about the next one for innovative childcare models. Last time we met, we took different reports from the different innovative models we've seen around the state so far. We kind of talked about some of the highlights from those different models. We also talked about the economic advantages from those, and I think the discussion kind of centered around how are we going to take this information we have and make it relevant for those that we want it to be relevant for. So kind of pointing that information towards communities, business leaders, really trying to figure out ways to it goes kind of back to money. How are we going to get communities to generate money and help along with things going on in the system? Because we all know the major issues we deal with providers and pay and it being too costly for families. And so trying to figure out how to gear these models around ways that it can be advantageous for a community. So what we did, like I said, was we highlighted areas from the different innovative models, tie that to some economic advantages. And I sent a document to our comms team. We're going to utilize KDHE Comms to see if they can come up with a one-pager for us. I have not heard back from them yet, but we're waiting for that to come back, and we're going to talk about kind of how it's set up and what we can do for the one-pager to kind of call out what we want to call out. Additionally, for that, we also talked about how can we align this work with the strategic plan. I know when Sarah was on, I think either last month or the month before, she showed us the dashboard, so we kind of talked about that. How can we make this work? Just how can we slide it in there to the strategic plan and make it be part of that? And then also with the childcare zones work that went on, a lot of that, well, a lot of that work dealt with private public partnerships. So trying to figure out to how we take examples from that work that went on and tie it to this as well and show the importance of that. And when there's investment from all sides, what can come out of it, and also scalability. Some of these programs that came out of the zones are probably going to fade out, but trying to figure out ways we can keep that work going. And like I said, a lot of that goes back to public-private partnerships and trying to highlight that. It may be from some of the areas we saw innovative childcare models, and it may be other work, maybe not tied to that, but just trying to also point out the importance of the public-private partnership so communities understand, like when you do invest in your community, what it can do for the system. So I don't know if anyone else had anything else they wanted to add to the innovative childcare models work group. All right. We'll go into the last one, strategies to retain childcare facilities.
I will share, and anyone from the group, please feel free to add. So we picked up our conversation from December, really talking about kind of this feeling like there's this shared sense of what we're calling like navigation fatigue, and just there's a lot of change going on. Some of it's really positive and exciting, but just, helping people kind of like manage that, it's a lot. And so looking at different tools that we could work on to help make sure people are getting like timely and consistent information. I think consistency is like the word that has kept coming up in the group of just making sure providers, licensing specialists, like anybody who needs the information is able to get what they need and have it be consistent across different mediums. So we kind of talked about like what's been done, what could be done. There was discussion of the interpretive guide that has been worked on by CCL. We've also talked about obviously there's a shift coming with the Office of Early Childhood, and so where are the opportunities to like think about, oh, well, like, I mean, there's still a lot of questions about like what websites will look like and all of that, but like, is this a time to be proactive and talk about like what kind of language would we want to see? What do we want to make sure with all those changes? Like, how do we make sure that that information is still available and people know how to find it, even as they're like, people might end up going to different places, but kind of what does that look like in the meantime? We also talked about how this is really important both for retaining current providers, but also encouraging new providers, just wanting to make sure that we're making it as like friendly and positive and supportive of a space as possible so that people can get information and we're not like losing people who either are saying, I actually don't want to be in the field anymore, or I don't want to come into the field because they're having trouble finding information. Just like, how do we make sure that we're filling those gaps? We also talked about like Nell showed a really great example about like her own experience as a provider and what that's like, how strong the relationship's been with her licensing team, and just how do we look at like those scenarios where it's working really, really well and they feel like a team and they feel like they're working together to create quality childcare. And so looking at both where there's challenges, but also like the examples of like things are going really well and could that be scaled? So that is the norm that we're all striving for. Yeah, I think those are, oh, and again, just looking at like what are the opportunities with all the change, just kind of, I think even just recognizing and saying out loud, there's a lot of change going on. And again, a lot of it I think is going to be really good news for providers, but still acknowledging that people are trying to navigate it and how can we just go like the extra, put a like even more extra grace for people of just it's a lot to try to find information, and let's make it as easy as possible for people. Did I miss anything from the group? Okay. Jarvis, you're muted.
There we go. Yep. So I just want to say that I think that's it for the updates, unless there's anybody that has any questions that came up in the meantime while we were sharing. But if not, we can go ahead and move into our work groups.
Good. Yeah, we will go ahead and Bree, if you want to start putting the groups together. We'll meet. I know the one group is gonna try to meet at a different time as they get some updates. So meet till whatever your group feels like you're done for the day. Again, we'll do updates in March. As a reminder, our March meeting is the evening one, so it'll be on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Yeah, and we will just do some other updates then. If any of you have like anything, in the spirit of saying there's a lot of change going on, and we're trying to bring those updates as much as we can, but if there's ever anything that you want to see on the agenda or things you want to know more about, certainly feel free to reach out to Jarvis or Jennifer or me, and we can do our best to make this a space to share information. And I think Melissa did a great job of plugging the event on Friday with the governance summit. And I think that will definitely be a place to hear some of the good things that are happening in the system. So, okay, with that, we'll get our rooms ready. And we'll see you all in March.
Thank you, everybody. If you have
Thank
anything,
you.
just let us know. Otherwise, have a great week.